ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Rock or Not. Okay, this is America's favorite gaming show, Rock or Not. We're talking about Slipknot, and let's see right here. What is this? I don't know. What is this? Who am I? Boom. They hit right here. Look big and jacked. We got Slipknot. I wrote down top 10 songs. Let's see, I have these little note cards. This is episode 1, first Rock or Not, where we figure out, is the band rock or not? We're going to be looking at the rock matrix here, right? You can see rock here, pop, indie, punk, metal, music matrix. On this axis, up and down, on the vertical axis is energy. How much energy does it have? Here is how catchy, the catchiness level, okay? This is kind of a matrix of catchiness versus energy. The premise being that anything that would be called, metal or punk, if it becomes sufficiently catchy, people just call it rock. It's not that it's no longer, let's say Green Day, for example, or some sort of punk band, right? The Ramones or Green Day, right? The instant a Green Day song is catchy and it crosses over, it keeps going catchy, it gets far enough, it goes across this line and then becomes not just punk, but punk rock. It gets called rock. It gets called punk. Likewise, I'm just saying, well, here's where it gets, okay, with Slipknot, if you're looking at Slipknot, I think it's pretty clear that with the top, if you look at the top 10 songs, you're going to see this, here. People go, is it rock? Is it metal? So kind of in a way, if something is rock or not, kind of correlates with, is it catchy, right? But if you don't care about catchiness, then this whole conversation kind of goes like, It's kind of generally, you observe people, if a song like Crazy, that's the way that it goes, millions of people living do. Like, metal wounds not healing, driving me insane, I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. If you're looking at that, people would be like, oh, well, Ozzy, metal. But then Crazy Train gets called a rock song, right? And so how do you determine if Slipknot or Ozzy is rock or metal? How do I determine the difference? I think it tends to be subjective. But I think if you want to be generous to people, I would go off of, and I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to start by going off of what are the top 10 songs, I think, in terms of catchiness, and then seeing where that ranks. Because sometimes, you'll see. But really, here's the thing is, people say, oh, is it rock or not? Is it rock or not? What they really mean is it good? Is their catalog good? Are they talented, right? A lot of these things get conflated. What do you mean by good, right? What do you mean by rock, right? And so I've kind of broken these down onto 4 separate little charts like this, right? That are pretty easy to follow. So I know it's been a minute or two on this intro, just because it's my first time doing it. I got the 10 top songs written down there. I'm going to show where they are, and I also wrote down the averages. But actually, I think it's a little bit more interesting to just hop into this next graph. Drum roll, please. Drum roll. Come on, let's see. 3, 2, beep, 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 beep. Okay, here we go. This is the catchiness index. This is where you tend to see as a function. Here's the thing is, for something to be catchy, it depends on a lot of different things. Let me see. I got my note card. I wrote a little list for you. Wrote a little. Anyways, let's see. My Pokemon cards. Let's break down whether it's rock or not. I lost the note card. No. Is Slipknot rock or not? The people want to know. The people want to know. The people want to know. You got to California with the vibrant eyes. You got to California. Let's see. So that's a great example. The song is not necessarily the catchiest song they have, but it's very high energy, right? But it's still sufficiently catchy that I think that's a rock song. It's a metal / rock song, right? I think with that line back in the other graph, hey, we'll get back to the graph. Okay, wait up. No, with this one. So basically, how catchy a song is depends on a lot of different things. I think I said it depends on the groove, space, key changes, the chords, the lyrics, and all that kind of stuff. But I think a very good place to start that gets us 90% of the thing is how predictable it is. And by that, I mean, like, is it mind-numbingly corny and simple and obvious, right? Think when people go like, oh, it's really bad, like a really cheesy, like bad Limp Bizkit song that you wouldn't know, versus a good Limp Bizkit song probably has a little bit of a balance. I'll just get. Anyways, if you think like a bad, what people call like butt rock, or they call like just generic blues, or just like, it's like boring, it's awful, it's so corny. You end up on this side, and you look up here is how catchy something is. Here's how predictable it is. If it's completely predictable, it's probably going to be a dud. It's going to be a dud in terms of catchiness, right? And then on the complete other side is where you have the Mars Volta's entire catalog, except for 2 songs. Oh, wait a minute, here we go. Joe Bonamassa, corny. The Mars Volta entire catalog, incoherent. Mars Volta entire catalog, incoherent. Right on this side. Both sides are both low. You're not good if you're anything close to that, because it comes, completely incoherent. Now, there's perfectly balanced is right here, right? And if you go perfectly balanced, if you're something around there, yeah, there's a bit of duds here. There's a lot of, there's a good bit of deep cuts, right? Maybe B-sides, things that are maybe the second, third, fourth best song on the record, if they're pretty balanced between how predictable and how unpredictable they are, right? And then if you keep going, you can see that actually there's a good bit of hits you can get if you're something around there, right? There seems to be an even amount, right? It doesn't guarantee you that you're going to have a hit or guarantee you that you're going to have a dud, but the probability is higher, right? And so if you look here, what I think is a little bit less unstable, a little bit more new and exciting than a perfectly balanced song is what I call the sweet spot. I think an example of a balanced song, perfectly balanced, is like Back in Black by AC/DC. Great song, definitely a hit or a smash hit, true. But I do think something that's in the sweet spot, a little zanier, not a lot, but just a little bit, is Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the jungle, we got fun and games. Jungle, welcome to the jungle. And so you see that ends up going right here, right? And then we've got, something like Bohemian Rhapsody, which is zanier to the point where it's less tight than, Welcome to the Jungle. It's starting to get a little looser. It's still a smash hit, but you can start to see if it gets a little bit zanier than Bohemian Rhapsody, if that song wasn't like perfect. If you're 10% off in any way from Bohemian Rhapsody, it kind of turns into garbage, or it could really shoot down in how good it is, like real quick, right? And so it's not that, so I call this the money zone. It's not that you have to be in the money zone or else you can't have a hit song. Clearly you can be, pretty far out. You could still, be pretty formulaic or pretty quirky and still have a hit song, right? In terms of catchiness. But the only place where smash hits do occur is in this money zone pretty much, right? So if you're in the money zone in terms of how predictable your song is, it doesn't guarantee you're going to have a smash hit, but it's the only place you're going to get one, right? So I think if you're a band and you can kind of mix things that are predictable and unpredictable, that's a good sign. Now, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a good song. You can still have a load of horse poopy. Manua. So let's actually get to Slipknot. I have my top 10 songs. Let me show you my top 10 songs. This video is getting way longer because it's my first video, but it's okay. So Slipknot, we have right here, Duality. I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops me. And then I say that's a 10 on catchiness. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think it's firmly in the upper end of this hit range. It's up there. It's barely not a smash hit because I actually hadn't heard it before I started listening to Slipknot and actually clicked their catalog. But instantly I was like, oh my God, that could have been a smash hit if slightly different circumstances. But it's hit quality. It's smash hit quality. It's really tight. Maybe the verses are a little off-putting. But Step Inside. It's Devil and I. Devil and I also gave, you can basically see my list here. But this is my ranking for kind of the top 10 Duality. And before I forget that, I am a woman before I am a man. I was a creature before I can stand. I will remember that. I'm trying not to go too loud or too verbose, but then you look at, and I feel the air rise up in me, now down and clear the stone away. I wander right where you can't see. Just saw the show. Oh, wait, I'm blind. And then you can't see Molly Better when you get to California without Molly Better's eyes. You can't say California without Molly Better's eyes. Solid on. Lord inside. Oh my God, yeah. And then step inside, see the devil and I. Too many times we had it come to this. And spit it out. But I think it's you can't kill me cause I'm already inside of you. Yes, you me cause I'm already inside. It's bad. It's bad. And then no, that's is that Eyeless? Wait. Outside by the only motherfucker with the brain. I'm hearing voices, but all they do is complain. How many times have you wanted to kill everything and everyone? Say you do it, but never will. You get to California with them on the Brato's eyes. You get to California with them on the Brato's eyes. You get to California with them on the Brato's eyes. Oh, that's Eyeless. Okay, how does Sick go? Oh my God, I don't even remember. I don't know. I'm a little out of it. This is how kind of life. Doom, doom, down, doom, doom, down, doom, down. Only one of us walks away. Oh my God, yeah. And then this is the end of everything. This is the end of everything. Doom, this is the end of everything. My whole life is a what? Motherfucker. Oh, you could have had all that left behind. Still don't do it. I can't. They're left behind. Don't all slipping. I feel it all slipping away. But anyways, I said average. You're gonna see this anyways. I said average is 8 for catchiness. Energy is 10.2. But we're really gonna get. I don't even know. I don't even know how to structure these videos, but this is the first one. Anyways, notice I think Slipknot in general tends to be a little formulaic, right? Or, so they either end up being a little formulaic on most of the catalog. Like, I think, was it Psychosocial? I'm like, but like, this dying song alone, dying song I like much better. No, don't say no. Don't it all. Don't add it to the waters. Let your mouth go sick and dry. Let thy life into your death now. Don't believe it till you die. Maybe I've been down too low. It's more fun. More fun. That's because it's a little, but I think if anything, it's a little getting close to the zany zone because the structure just goes off on all these tangents. And honestly, sometimes when the structure does go off on tangents, like once again, it gets boring. I think that's the kind of thing is like, said predictability here, but like I think catchiness is a balance of boredom and excitement, but it can't just be, it's if it's not slightly predictable, it can't be exciting because it's just total nonsense, right? Anyways, let's just flip to the next chart. No, but I think this is a good little rundown. Oh, I wrote things on the chart. I should just read those. But here's the real good one. Here's where we talk about the catalog. People go, is a band good? Like David Bowie's a great example. It's like, well, if you're looking at his top 10 songs, yeah, David Bowie's one of the greatest of all time. If you're looking at the ratio of good stuff to bad stuff in his catalog, you'd go, David Bowie's one of the worst artists to ever live. Now, and then is David Bowie rock? Well, you're looking across his catalog and averaging it. Are you looking at the top 10 songs? Is he closer to pop? Is he closer to Indian punk? Indian punk? What are you talking about? This is not Indian punk. I've dated a couple Indian women in my day. The day being yesterday. Now, let's take a look at a couple different catalogs. Oh, so what do I think Slipknot is? honestly, I'm not the most Slipknot shirt, but no, here's a good example. So like I was saying David Bowie, though he has a good amount of hits, most of his stuff. This is the quality on the bottom here, right? Duds, B-sides, hits, and this is quantity. So this is the relative ratio, not the total amount. Okay, because like I was saying, David Bowie's probably got like 10 or 20 like hits that are like really good hits, but he's got 400 million bad songs too. And so it's the ratio of 400 million to 20, right? And he's got pretty much no B-sides. It's either good or it's bad. Bad, bad. And it doesn't mean it's a hit, like it went viral, it went mega super famous. It just meant it had enough goodness. It was good enough that it could have been a hit. The same way, like, But I'm a Creep by Radiohead, I think, compared to the rest of their catalog, I think it's definitely at a higher level to where even if that song wasn't, even if that song didn't blow up and just didn't come out at the right time to actually become a hit, like if it came out today by an unknown band, it would still be hit quality, even if it never actually became a hit culturally, right? I think if something actually takes off as a hit, usually the prerequisite is that it has to be at least hit quality, but not every hit quality song actually becomes a hit, right? So if we're looking here, here's some one hit wonders. So the difference between the 50/50s and the one hit wonders, honestly, I think this just is, there's a lower amount and it's literally one. I wanted to try and draw like it's literally like garbage and then one. I don't have a problem with Chicago, but none of the other songs are even B-sides. I listened through like the first 8 records straight and I found like 5 songs that were hit quality. None of them were just right here. And Faith No More, I found like 3 good songs. The rest are just like, yeah. Now, I think this is interesting. Weezer, Hit or Quit, right? Scorpion, Queen. Queen has a lot of all-time bangers. And then all garbage. And I think Bowie has a little bit more even. I think this isn't as rough. Like I think Limp Bizkit falls in here, right? Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. Like if you're a fan, you can milk out a little bit more. But like if you're really trying to get into them, you can really kind of find some deep cuts here and there. Soundgarden's probably a little more consistent. But Queen, I listened to Queen like, oh, the first like 4 records, it's either a banger or that song is hot incoherence. It turns into Mars Volta, right? It's like, oh. So this is more like extreme. And I think with Weezer, it's either an amazing song or it's awful. It's rare to find a Weezer song that's, oh, this is interesting. Oh, there's something I like. It's either really good, like, oh my God, I really like this song, or it's like, I need to turn this off now. Now, a really interesting one is OnlyFans. For OnlyFans, now I don't think Slipknot's for OnlyFans because Slipknot has a really good amount of hits. If anything, I think Slipknot's going to be over here where it's a flat line where it's almost 50-50. It's pretty consistent. Maybe like 1/3 is duds, 1/3 is like good B-sides, and 1/3 is like, man, this could be a hit. This is really good. And then I think the all-time classic catalogs where it's just like undeniable. There's barely any duds. It's almost all B-sides and hits. Now, if you think, the Beatles' Rage Against the Machines is better than someone like, Led Zeppelin or maybe Queen, that depends on your, what are you saying? Is my top 10 songs or the top 5 songs are better? Or, you know what I mean? Like, because the average quality and the quantity can differ. So this is where everyone's definition of are they good, who's better? Because that's the real thing. Does it rock? It's easy to say. Who sucks? Who is better? Who are they better than, right? And that's just where you get into things. Like here for OnlyFans, I think Frank Zappa, Motorhead's a great example. Motorhead is like Ace of Spades and then maybe Overkill, but that's not even a hit quality song. It's just cool and good. I like Motorhead. So I like it, but I can acknowledge, and same with Slayer, it's like, I love Die by the Sword off of not first album, but Living Undead or whatever, Undead Living or whatever, the second album where it's the first album again, but live. But that's not a hit. To me, it's a hit, but I think something that's more like a hit. Just like the Pied Piper. I think that's more down here, like Metallica, like, how many bad Metallica songs there are. There might be like 20 or 30, but they have so many hits and so many good non-hits too. Like the thing that should not be is a song I never hear, but like is really good, and it's like in the middle here. Like most of like Metallica, most is really good. Most of the Beatles is really high quality. Like even if it's not your thing, it's like how much garbage do they really put out? Not a lot, but a lot of bands either have like one hit, are hyper polarized, have no hits, but a lot of good stuff for fans. Like I think Queens of the Stone Age probably falls in here. I could be wrong though. They could be, and some of these can be a mix, right? You can kind of have something in between these. But just as buckets, like my brother's listened to everything Nine Inch Nails has ever done, and he's like, there's a good amount of hits, good amount of duds, good amount of B-sides. Led Zeppelin, pretty even. I think I was going to put Motley Crue there, but I honestly haven't listened to all of it. But just things that feel more even. It's like, if you love everything they do and you really love the band, then you're like, Motley Crue doesn't go there. They go friggin' all-time classic catalog. But honestly, I think it's probably not the case. Now, what kind of, Slipknot. What kind of, 20 minutes on that, yeah, right? Every video turns into a 30-minute video with me. What's wrong with me? I thought I was going quick today. Quick, but this is the first one. I want to get these videos. I, for some reason in my head, said 10 minutes. But I think as this series goes, people will start to get it. So, catalog, what do I think for them? I'm going to go a lot of hit quality songs. I'm going to say they're probably, the hit amount is high, right? So it's either going to be classic catalog, hit or quit, and 50-50. I don't think they have a lot of like duds. I think they have a lot of songs you're like, okay, that's kind of good, but they don't have a lot of garbage. Like this is people who have a lot of hits and garbage, right? Like it's mostly hits and garbage, not them. This is people with relatively low amount of hits relative to everything else, like pumped out garbage. I'd say like Limp Bizkit has like 30 great songs and like 400 bad songs, like really bad. So it's like they go there. That's like barely any hits. Slipknot is not just for only fans. They have like hit songs. So they're either a 50-50 or classic catalog. Let's go with the straight up friggin' neutral. In between. This is duds, B-sides, and hits. I think on average they have, probably the same amount of hits that they do B-sides and duds. They have more B-sides than duds, right? You can see that. That's kind of the trend there. Anyways, that's kind of my read on Slipknot. So now to the last graph, then we go back to the main graph and see where Slipknot land. And here's the thing too, is I'm going to do this based off of where I average the top 10 songs to be for that artist, not just where, their best song or the average of their catalog. Because the average of the Slipknot catalog is probably not, I'm going to say the average, because you're averaging in a lot of songs that are not hit quality. I think it's going to pull the catchiness back down out of the rock metal category if you're averaging over every single song's catchiness and energy level. But, I think if you look at the top 10 songs, it probably ends up being rock/metal. If you were to put it on rock radio, right, the top 10 songs can probably fit on rock radio. Some of them are a stretch, but on average they can. Now, this is the fun one I wanted to do. This is talent. Some people only care about how good the songwriting is, the riffs, the chords, the melodies, the choices. This is where I think like Weezer kicks it out of the park. Musicianship, Weezer's great, but not as impressive as someone like Primus. Primus is very bad at songwriting relative to how good they are at music and having a unique vibe and having a good brand, right? So you've got songwriting, you've got musicianship, and then you've got brand. And these are all kind of separate facets of life, so to speak. And so I'm going to label them yellow, red, and green. Green for good, red for bad, yellow for fine. And then we're going to see, in general. So we're talking Slipknot, right? Slipknot, historical impact, I think it was pretty good. But let's start with present impact. The present impact is good. Just fit like that. So present impact, they got a huge impact. How is their aesthetic? Their aesthetic is amazing. This is going to shock no one. I think Slipknot's going to probably, max out the brand category. The aesthetic is great. The stage design is great. Outfits, logos, merch, album art. Let's see, album art, themes. The themes, I might give a medium, but overall, it's green. I don't even have to put all the stickies for them. Let's see here. Oh my God, these yellow stickies. Look at how they go. Post the video. Okay. I like this a little better than the other videos I've been making. It's a little more fun. Historical impact, I'm going to go themes are probably okay. It's not like I don't think themes when I think it. Now, all the guitarists, the vibe, the skill, drummer, bassist might be yellow, but keyboardist, I gotta go green on this whole thing. Gotta go right here. Normally I split it into two different things for the vibe and skill. Because for some bands that's gonna become relevant. For Slipknot, I mean, everyone's like, who's this new Slipknot drummer? Like, it's gonna be an absolute killer. That's all I know for sure. No one knows who they're gonna be named, but or what they're named, not who they're gonna be named. They're gonna be named drummer of Slipknot. That's who they're gonna be named. But let's see, here we go. Singer, Marlon Brando's eyes. Extra musicians. Now, here we go. Slipknot solos. I don't think I've heard a single Slipknot solo that I like go, wow, that's great. Riffs. The riffs work for the song, but I don't think there's a single Slipknot riff like oh, done. They're in service of the song. They don't stand out. Or that's riffs. The tones are medium cool. Honestly, they're not like stand out. I'm not like, whoa, that's a good guitar tone, or like, wow. Melodies, great. Chords are good because they work for the melodies. Honestly, lyrics, I don't know. Like, this is the thing, is like, step inside. The lyrics work for branding, but as lyrics on their own, do they work? I gotta say, there's other bands that are metal bands, I like the lyrics a little bit better. Live show, that's gonna be green. Songwriting, I've got to give it. It's times 7. I'm gonna give it. How is the songwriting? Because you're about to see how this adds up in the end. Well, overall, they're here. Oh, I wanted to have as a key that excellent is green. Wait. I want to do like 3 videos in the time it's taking me to do one. Oh my God. Who cares? This is fun. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Is this as good for you as it is for me? Now is that gratitude, or is it real love? I'll take away my heart, I'm running out of me. In the middle of a blue tornado, on the tip of everyone's tongue, alone at a time, but I don't just want to happen. I want to do this so they can get a clean sweep, but I'm going to go yellow, because honestly, that's in my heart of hearts. Now, what did I say for this one? It's a times 7, and that's going to put them in yellow for that. But you're going to see something that's pretty clear to me, at least, is though they have 10 yellow or 11 yellow, let's see. Okay, so they've got, so overall on songwriting, I'm going to say they're fine. Fine. Yellow means fine. You can read. Can you read? I really hope you can read. I'd be really worried for you if you can't read. So yellow, I'm looking on the camera and looking. Yellow means fine. This means excellent. Green. Red means bad. So they're fine on songwriting on average. Not like bad. They do some things really well. Some, the lyrics. But yeah. Then brand, they're like basically 10 out of 10, except for one. And then musicianship, they're 10 out of, or they're whatever this. I'm not adding that. But anyways, you can pretty much see that the thing that they have the least of is reds. And that means it's pretty ubiquitous. So first off, if you look at this, it's all green. They're great. So they are, let's see, what are their strong suits? What are their talents? Here we go. What are they talented in? Their musicianship. Their brand. And this is okay. Songs doesn't really get check. It's okay. Now, if what they had was mostly, if they had, oh no, here's what it is. What do they have the least of? If the least is yellow, that means they're either really good at stuff or really bad at stuff. And for people who only care about the things that they're really bad at, they're going to say they suck. And the people who only care about the things they're really good at are going to say they're amazing. How do you think they suck? That's incredible. You're a crazy person. And then most people are going to be like, oh, I like some of those things and don't care about the other things. So people are going to be like, I don't know how to feel about them. Primus is a good example. Really good here, really bad here. And then brand is really good. So it's going to be all red and all green for Primus. meaning there's pretty much nothing there in the middle at. But this is all green. Do you see that? There's one red, literally one red. So that means they are low on controversy. Everyone's going to say either it's not my thing or they're good. So controversy, low. Do I want to have to redo that? I'm going to go right there with a little check mark. Now we can look at this and we can flip back to the main chart and wrap up this 800 friggin' hour video. You guys have been patient. But no, I want to think about, so where do you guys put them? And where does the catalog actually sit? Let me know. Oh, this is so good. Yes. I was thinking about going to the gym after this, but now I'm in the groove. I had a friggin' energy drink. I want to hit some biceps. I think I want to wait till tomorrow because my shoulder's a little sore. In the middle of a root tornado, on the tip of everyone's tongue. Oh, there we go. Okay, so what did I say? In review, drum roll, please. We got duality, 10 by 10. So here's the thing. You can see metal goes up to 11. Get it? Spinal Tap. It's a movie for you young people. Pretty much anything that's lower energy, if it's not either catch, if it's not sufficiently catchy, the songs or the artist on average, or their top 10 songs on average, whatever you're doing personally, they end up down here, right? So indie, jazz, blues, country. Because if blues gets more energy, eventually it turns into punk. And if blues gets good, it either turns into a poppy blues song or a rock blues song, right? Also, rock can be considered pop. Typically, it's popular, in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s and the 60s and the 50s, rock was popular music. Now, I think you've got a lot of social engineering. I think you get the CIA and different things put their hands in the buckets. Anyways, long, complicated thing. Look at the Atlantic Council and Dua Lipa. Anyways, I think you get some fuddling with, but in general, I think these things add, and you add them as they go to rock. And so, jazz, if a jazz song is catchy enough, it's a pop song. Fly me to the moon, let me sing amongst the stars. I wonder how spring will feel on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, please be true. In other words, I need you. I fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. Sinatra turns into pop, right? Classical. If you go dun 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 dun. Anytime classical is catchy, it turns into pop, and if it's really high energy, it turns into rock. As the energy go, you can see this energy up and down, catchiness this way. If it gets catchy enough, if it becomes catchy enough, it turns into pop. If it goes energy enough, it turns into rock. So things can just kind of jump from here to here. Country. I'm burning down the road, I'm flirting with disaster. Down, 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 faster. And things generally, artists generally tend to have kind of like a center of mass, right? And then they have like a little area around it where they tend to boggle, right? So if you look at Cage the Elephant, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up around here, where like some of the stuff is straight up rock, some of the stuff is straight up pop, some of the stuff is not that good, so it becomes indie, and some of the stuff is like not that catchy, but it's higher energy, so it's either punk or kind of like this thing. I think a great example is the Strokes. If the Strokes didn't write really catchy songs, they would either call them indie or punk. They'd be called a indie punk band. But the Strokes write catchy songs, so they get called a rock and or pop band. Or indie rock. Or indie or and pop punk. Pop punk. It's synonymous with pop rock. This all adds up. Rock can be called pop. It's the whole thing. Punk rock and pop punk probably just means up here, farther away from pop on the energy level, or closer to pop on the energy level. So now where is Slippy Flippy, flippy, slippy, slippy, flippy, flippy, not. Oh! Right here. No cuts in this video. Editor, no cuts in the video. This is an expensive production. We have an editor. Okay. No. So, catchiness, 8. See that? Energy, 10.2. What do you think about that? So, catchiness, yeah. Catchiness is right here. Energy, 10.2. I think Slipknot is on the high. I think, so, in general, I think Slipknot, energy-wise, their entire catalog is in the metal range. Almost the entire thing. So, they're clearly here. Now, I think their catalog goes from probably like 5 or 10, like 5 to 10 in terms of catchiness. So they bounce, they're right in this whole block right here. They're here. So where do I, in fact, put the band? I put it 10.2 on energy, an 8 on rock. There you have it, folks. Slipknot is, in fact, rock. But that's not the only thing you learned today. I didn't even use my note cards. Look at that. Slipknot, not only are they rock, they have a kind of classic catalog with very few duds relative to anything else. They are pretty non-controversial in the fact that they are seen as being a good band. They are talented in musicianship, not as much in songwriting, and they have an extremely good brand. And on top of that, they're a rock metal band. If you look at their top songs only, in terms of catchiness, not in terms of, the most people know them. Because one song can go viral on TikTok for like one band that's not representative of the rest of their music, and then it could skew the whole thing. It's like, anyways. But yeah, Slipknot's a rock band. Let me know what you think. Is the catalog actually have more duds? Is the catalog actually better than I thought? Is there songs that you would have put in that I didn't put in? Because I put in mostly first album, but I think probably I wouldn't be surprised if first and second album are the ones that the fans like the most anyways. I honestly, admittedly, I've not listened to the whole catalog over and over and over. I really like the first album. I listened to it a good bit. Anyways, if you want more videos like this, you want to see more rankings, you want to see me explain the whole chart again, watch the next video. Anyways, I'll be here once again. World famous Gen Z rock star Connor O'Farrell, the Wicked Prince of Destiny. Woo! The Black Man. And we were weighing in at 5, or no, not weighing in, no. No, we were about 5'7" last time I measured it, but then I measured myself yesterday with a shoddy yardstick, and I was 5'6". I felt pretty bad about that. I'm like, I guess I gotta start stretching again. Ooh. So I've been stretching. We will retest how tall I am. But anyways, if there's any other bands you want, anything like that, let me know in the comment below. Thanks for watching. Next band. Who am I doing next? I think it's Queens of the Stone Age. I'm also doing Blur, Arctic Monkeys, White Stripes. Bands I've listened to a lot. I'm going to go through pretty quick. Hopefully in the next video, it's a little bit quicker. Anyways, I'll see you there. My band is the outro music. If you like it, go check it out. Description below. Anyways, see you later.